in the desert and you're walking. Ernie,
Good evening, Doctor.
Ernie, I have your time tonight, and I know we're going to learn tonight and tomorrow morning. So it's if you can do it for Shmuel ben Avraham Gedalia. Well, it's 44 years since he passed away. So.
Unbelievable. Shmuel ben Avraham Gedalia should have his neshama should have an aliyah and the schus of the learning that we're doing.
Amen. Where's the lechaim?
Amen. Wow. Your father passed away young.
Oof. He was very young.
How old was he?
He was 61. He was never sick in his life. Never, and woke up one morning and didn't feel well. Erev Shabbos, it was Taka Erev Shabbos, was a Friday morning. And I had just got married. I was 21 years old. He was 61.
Sounds similar.
Huh?
Myself also. My father passed away at like 56, and I also just got married.
I remember your father very well, John.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
56 is young, man.
Mm-hmm.
Too young. Okay. Ernie.
Okay.
Yalla.
So we're in Kuf Yud Beis.
By the way,
112.
Ernie, tomorrow morning there's Minyan at Yom.
Okay. And we'll learn Mirz Hashem at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock. Good.
8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So the Mishnah said, Miftach Chalukah, woman's blouse, that it's mutter for her to tie one of those knots. So pshita. So of course, it's when you have a shirt, and you have like it's in Bnei Akiva we had a chutzah you would have like a shoestring that would tie, you would tie the buttons closed with a shoestring. Well, that's a string that is made to open up. It's certainly Eino Shel Kayama, so of course it's going to not be usher. So Lo Tzricha, the Chiddush is the Islay Trade Dashi. It had two rows of string. And maybe you would only undo one of them, but the other one would remain always closed. And therefore that might be a Kesher Kayam. A Kamash Malon that no, they're always going to undo both of them as well. Neither of them are considered kavua. Then the Mishnah said, Chute Svacha, if she wears a hairnet, and in the hairnet were knots, so we said she can untie them, it's not a problem on Shabbos. So again, Pshita, why should it be a problem? So Lo Tzricha D'Ravicha Law, that she perhaps wears it very loosely. She doesn't tighten it. And therefore, Ma'odesem a Mishal of Shafal, and maybe she will leave the knots tied permanently. And the way she'll get the hairnet off is she'll sort of move it without undoing the knots. And therefore, maybe if by knotting it, you create a Kesher Shel Kayam, and that's why it should be Asr. Kamash Malon. No, the Isha Chasa al Sa'ara, women are very particular about their hair. Mishra Shayla, she will completely untie these knots to be able to get the hairnet off very easily so it won't disrupt her hair. The Gemara knew modern women very well as well, obviously. So Uritzuas min al the sandal. Then we talked about the laces of shoes and sandals. We said also you could tie them, untie them, that's not a problem. Itmar. However, we have the following brisa. Hitmir Uritzuas min al the sandal. Somebody untied these laces. Tani chada chayv chatas. One brisa seems to suggest it's usher, and you'd bring it's a midoraisa. You'd have to bring a chatas. The Tanya dechpot rav usher. Another brisa says it's not midoraisa, but it's also midrabana. The Tanya idech motelachatchila, and a third brisa says it's completely permitted. So this is a kasha minala minal, kasha sandal sandal from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah said both a shoe and a sandal you could untie. So minala minaloi kasha. It's not a kasha because Haditani Chayv Chatas is the Ushkafi. Ushkafi are like the shoemakers. When they tie something, they tie it permanently. So that would be a chiv chatas. Pot level also is bidrabana. That Chachamim wore certain shoes that they would tie it, they would untie it periodically. So that's perhaps longer than we'd like. Rashi says, they don't tie very tight. Sometimes they slip the shoe off even though it's still tied. It's not a full kesher shakam. At certain times where it's muddy, they will undo it so that the mud won't stick there. And so that's Potter Avalos. The average population. They undo their shoes, and they untie like us. They tie and untie every day, so there's no concern about kesher shel kayama, and therefore it's completely permitted. That's regarding a shoe. Sandal kasha. It's not a kasha by the sandal either. How did Tani Chayiv Chatas? But the tie that's Arabs, the katri ushkafi. They tie it in a very professional manner and they leave it tied forever. And therefore it's a kesher shel kayama b'chayiv chatas. Potter avloser b'dechumra sodiktori inu. Regular people, but sandals, they will tie a knot that will stay tied most of the time. Not all the time, so that's why it's potter avloser. For example, let's say there are two people that wear the same sandal. There, they completely untie it because it doesn't fit. For Reuven, it doesn't fit for Shimon. So, a sandal that's made for two people, that is clearly mutter, because that would be completely untied every time. Rav Yehuda Achmed Rav Salah Chasida. Rav Yehuda was walking in back of Rav Salah Havaleh, who's zuga de sandal. He had a pair of sandals. Zinda de nafik bei ihu. Zinda de nafik bei yenuke. And sometimes he would wear it, sometimes his child would wear it. Also, they presented the case to Abai Omer like, what's the case about this shoe? Is it chayiv or permitted? I never had a havamina that would be chayiv chatas. I wonder maybe there's a rabbinic isser. I thought maybe though it would be permitted. You throwing at me chayiv chatas currently? My time up. So he explained to Abaya that no, even during the week, sometimes I wear the shoe, sometimes my child wears the shoe. So in a chanami, then that would be completely permitted, because when two people wear the shoe, they have to untie it completely, so there's never a problem of kesher shel kayam. Rav Yirmiyah Avakozl Basrei Rav Avu b'Karmelis. Rav Yirmiyah was walking with Rav Avu in a Carmelis. Ifsik ritzua de sandalei. One of the straps of the sandal broke. Amalei, my novitla. What can we do now? Amalei shkol gemi lach. Take a moist reed, the chazil Michael behema, that you would feed, so it's not muktzah. Because the problem is, if the shoe is muktzah, if the shoe is a broken shoe, so it's muktzah. There's nothing, you can't do it anything with it, you can't touch it. So like he said, tie a reed around it, and then you'll be able to wear it until you bring it inside the house. Because in a Carmelis, you can't carry. Abai Avakakami Rav Yosef. Abai was with Rav Yosef. Ifsik Ritzu, one of his straps broke. Armalei, my ovid, what can we do with this? Armalei Shavke, you can't touch it. You have to leave it there. So he said, my Shtami Rav Yirmiyah. Why are you more machmir than Rav Yirmiyah? This case of where he told him not to touch it, that was in his backyard. So there's no worry. But in the Carmelis, if they would have left it there, nobody's watching it. And therefore, you have a right to do this kind of shtick to be able to walk it out of there. Afraid to Gemara. Why should we say it's muktzah? It's still a kli. The iba ina like yamin is small. For example, it was, let's say, the outer strap was broken. Okay, you can't wear it on your right foot, but you can wear it on your left foot, and therefore it's still a kli. It's like Rav Yochanan was mitare. It's according to Rav Yehuda. As we're going to explain. Shema mina halacha Rav Yehuda. Comes out that the halachas are now. Mahi, what is this case of Rav Yehuda? The time. Sandal shenifsaku shtei oznav. You have a sandal that the two flaps that go on top of the sandal broke. O shtei tresosim, or the main side, both of the side straps broke. O shenitl kol hakavshel, the whole sole was removed. So a shoe is a kli. It's makabel tuma. But if these things happen to it, it's not kli anymore. It's not a shoe, so it's not makabel tuma. Achas meyaznav, achas betresosa. If only one of the straps fell off, or one of the flaps, or shenitl rova kavshelo, just the majority of the sole, tummy, it still retains the status as a kli, will be makabel tuma. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, he says it depends which strap. Nifsaka pnimis, if the inner strap broke, so that doesn't ruin it as a shoe. It remains tamei. Hachitzona, but if it's the outer strap, tola. Because again, we said he could wear it on the. In that case, he can't do anything with it. With the other type of break, you could say the right foot could put on the left foot. But if the outer strap broke, there's nothing to fix. Omer Ula. The Temer Rav Yochanan, Kimachlokas Linyan Tuma, just like they argue here by Tuma, Kach Machlokas Linyan Shabbos, whether the shoe retains its status as a kli, but Avalola Inyan Chalitza. Now, when you have Reuven and Shimon, and Reuven dies without children, so Shimon does Yibum to Reuven's wife. Now, if Reuven doesn't want to do it, so then there's a chalitza process. And the woman has to remove the shoe of Shimon. Now, there's a whole debate that we're going to learn Mitzvah Shem later on about when is a chalitza in the Sechti Yavamis, when is the shoe not capable of being used as a chalitza shoe? So the Gemara says here, the machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Chachamim is not the same by chalitza, regarding whether the shoe retains its status as a chalitza shoe. And this we analyzed. We said Rabbi Yochanan liba deman. Who's Rabbi Yochanan going like? Ilim alibid Rabbanon. If it's considered a kli for tuma, linyan Shabbos nami monavi, so it should be considered a kli for Shabbos and not muktzah. But it's not considered a shoe for chlitza because it's there. It's not a kli. Why not? Small biyamin. If the woman removed the person's left shoe with the right hand, chalitza shema. So what do you mean that and since this sandal could be used on the opposite foot, it should be okay. Not that it shouldn't be okay. So it must be. He doesn't hold like the Chacham. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Elali Rabbi Yehuda. Midalinian tumalav manahu. Simply, since he holds like Rabbi Yehuda that the shoe loses its status as a kli. Linian Shabbos nami lav manahu. So it's not a kli regarding Shabbos. Therefore, you would not be able to touch it. It's muktzah. Avalola chlitza de manahu. But it remains a kli regarding chlitza. Are you telling me because he holds that by doing the chalitza for the left shoe would work? So for one thing, it is a mana lav manahu. Yeah, the harm Rav Yehuda nifsaka chitzona tohar, because it's only if the outer strap broke, then it's tahor. But then Amalav Manu. So still, though, the Gemara says, Lo Malivid Rabbi Yehuda, you have to say V'chein L'chlitza. And just like the same din applies for Tumah and Shabbos, it applies for Chlitza as well. To teach me the Chiddush, when do we say that if the woman removed the left shoe, it's good? That's Heichad L'mil Samanu. That's as long as it has a qualification as a shoe. But if it's not doesn't have a use as a shoe, regarding a kli, it would not be considered a kli. So we said Rav Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. How can we say Rav Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda? I'll show you that he doesn't. That Rav Yochanan halacha gestam mishnah. We have a principle. Rav Yochanan always paskins like an anonymous, unnamed mishnah, like a mishnah that doesn't mention somebody's name, would not. And it says in a stam mishnah, sandal shenifzakachas me'azav v'tikna. You have a sandal that one of the flaps broke, but you fixed it. Tomei medras. So it's got the status of a shoe, and will have tumah. Now, remember, there are two straps. So let's say the second one broke, and then so the first one broke, you fixed it. Then the second one broke, you fixed it, tohar. Milatami medras. It doesn't have standard tumah. Avaltami maga medras, but it has a certain level, but it loses one of its statuses of tumah. And my love, loshna pnimis loshna chitzona. What's the kasha is here? We said Rav Yochanan holds like Rav Yehuda that sometimes there's a case where if one of the straps breaks, it's still usable. But here, it seems that it makes no difference whether the inner one or the outer one breaks. So the Gemara says, no, lo pnimis dafka. It's the inner one, like we've said before, that Rabbi Yehuda says it's tor. That it says that it remains a kli. So what are you going to say about chitzona? But if the outer one broke, it can't be used at all. My tohor. So then the structure of the language of the Bryce is not correct. Iachi adatani. Why did we wait for the Bryce to say nifsaka shniya v'tikna tormina medras avatami maga medras? You could have argued before you got to that point. Niflag b'didei b'medvar mamorim shenifsaka pnimis. They should have made a chiluk between the outer and the inner one at the beginning of the Bryce. And since it didn't do that, the Gemara is rejecting the concept that there's a difference between the pnimi and the chitzon. So, Rav Yitzchak ben Yosef, no. We're talking about a shoe that had 4 flaps or 4 straps. And therefore, even if 2 broke, there's still 2 that remains. And we do this all because we don't want, who said Allah Rabbi Yehuda, we want to keep that alive. However, ki also Rav Yochanan bar Abba Marav Allah Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Yochanan ain't Allah Rabbi Yehuda. So what do you mean? You just told me that we were metirates our problem by saying Rav Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Shema minak Rabbi Yehuda sfirale. So in fact, there's a machlokas Amiroim regarding what did Rav Yochanan hold? Did he hold like Rabbi Yehuda? Did he not hold like Rabbi Yehuda? It's not awesome. We learned over there in the Mishnah. Called clay balibatim. So we learned before, if you have a bowl and the bowl has a hole in it on the bottom, how big does the hole have to be in order to invalidate that kli from being makabel tumah? We know that once you break a kli, that doesn't have the status of a kli anymore, and it's toher. So, the kalim depend. Kli balabatim is kalim that people in their house use, as opposed to kalim that are used by umnim, by various professionals. So klei balabatim shiurin karimoni. Once a bowl has a hole in it, on the bottom, the size that a pomegranate can be removed, so it becomes toher. But a hole smaller than that, it's still a kli. Boy Rav Chizkiah, I have another question. Nikiv kamotzi zayis. You have a hole the size of an olive, much smaller than a pomegranate. And then you went to your local pottery person, ustamo, and he fixed it. The chaz of a nikiv kamotzi zayis. And then another hole occurred. Ustomo. Until Ad Shlima Lamotzi Rimon. But he then got 4 or 5 other holes in it over time. And eventually, the size of, if you added all the holes up, it would be Kamotzi Rimo. Mahu. Do we say that when it's the size of a Rimo, it's not, we're not talking about it's starfus of holes that you then filled up. We're talking about it's got to be one big hole. You taught us sandal shenifsika achas me'ozdo v'tikna. You said you had a sandal, one of the straps broke, you fixed it. Tommy medras. Nifsika shniya v'tikna. If the second one broke and you fixed it, tor. Mina medras aval Tommy maga medras. V'amina loch. We asked Maishna Rishona, why in the first case did it remain Makabel Tuma? Because the Hakai Mashniya, because there was still a second strap. Now, when the second one breaks, Shniya Nami, well, we already fixed the first one. Make Takna Rishona, why should it be different? So, V'amrit Lon Alei Porim Chadosh Bolakan. A new concept. A shoe that has 2 straps. And one strap broke, and the shoe was tummy. One strap broke and you fixed it. We say it still remains tummy. The second strap breaks. We don't care that you fixed it and that they were not. It's a new shoe because a shoe is not a shoe without 2 straps. This shoe lost its original 2 straps. Therefore, this is a new shoe. It's a new bria. And it's completely, and therefore, the fact that a sheretz fell on the old shoe, we don't care. This is a new shoe. And it remains torn until something new falls on it. That's the concept of panim chadoshes. It's not just by Sheva brachos. It's a concept that you have, it's a new thing. Chanami, if you have a hole in a bowl, even though you filled it many times, this is now a new, this bowl is not the same bowl that it was. It's a new bowl. Kari Ale, so he praised Rav Yochanan less than Bari. This is not a human being, this is a malach. Or Ikidami Kagon Dain Barindish. Or this person is really a human being. This is how all human beings should be. This is the famous Chazal that seems to indicate to us that there's Yeridas Hadoros, the times of Moshe Rabbeinu to Yoshua, and from the Nevi'im to Chazal to the Rishonim. That there's as the generations go on, if they were like angels, we are like people. If they were like people, we're like donkeys. And by the way, we're not like any donkey. Excuse me, we're not like a good donkey. We're like a real donkey. Because the Gemara tells us many stories of the donkeys of Rav Pinchas ben Yair and Chanina ben Dosa. They did miraculous things. For example, they tried to feed them tevel, where Trumas and Mises were not taken. These donkeys didn't eat from that. They had some kind of special knowledge, and therefore, even if we're chamorim, we're not like those chamorim. Alavai, we'd be like those chamorim. Then it says v'noidos yayin v'shemen. The Mishnah said if you tie like a jug that holds wine, not a jug, like what's his name, Robin Hood, a flask. Robin Hood used to carry around one of those leather flasks that they had wine in it. That's like a nod yayin. So they were tied by string, and we said you could tie those strings and untie them on Shabbos. So pshita, you open those things. You don't keep them closed forever. There were 2 openings, and maybe one of the openings you were going to leave the knot tied there permanently. And therefore you performed the kesher shel kayama. Kamash Malon, that no, people use these flasks, they open up all the psachim. And then we talked about a kedera shel basar, some kind of implement that you cooked a roast in that was also tied with string. So again, you got to open it up. Why would we think that it's a kesher shel kayama? Pshita, so lo tzricha di islay shlacha. There was another opening that perhaps you could slide the piece of meat out of there, and the other opening remains tied permanently with the knot. Because Ma'odesem b'tum avatulei, Kamash Malon, that way that's not how that's used. Rabbi Yezer ben Yaakov Omer, Koshra. We said that if you had an opening of a door, there was a doorway, and there was an animal in the house, you could, if you tied a rope across the doorway as a mechanism to keep the animal in there, we said that that's permitted. That's not a kesher shel kayama. Well, pshita. Of course it's not. You're gonna have to open it up at some point. Again, the chiddush here is you had two strings across the doorway. That one of them you would leave permanently there, and therefore maybe the halach is you shouldn't do it. Kamash Malon, that no, you usually would untie both of them. The halacha is like Rabbi Yezer ben Yaakov. Halacha b'chlal de pligi. Does anybody argue? The Gemara understood that there was nobody arguing. So why are you telling me? Why are you telling me about that it's his opinion? Whether there's a machlokas with him or not, the halacha is like him. What do we care? You want to know whether there's a machlokas. It's important to know because Armalei Gemara is more today. What should we just recite the Gemara like a song and not understand it? We got to understand it. If there was somebody who's arguing with them, we got to know who was it and why they argued. Okay, so Mirza Shem,